Klika here. I'm the Director of Athletics here at Fitness Quest 10, and we work with a lot of youngsters in our athletic program. That's a large majority of our athletic program is beginner athletes and younger athletes. And part of what we do with these athletes is we focus on not so much performance as development. Because what we found is when we take a young athlete and we focus on developing them to be an elite athlete when they're in their later teens, we get a lot better results. And so when we start with an athlete, it really doesn't matter what age, even our pro athletes will start with this. The number one thing we have to think about is, do they move well? And one of the basic foundations of movement is how well can you run? Any sport's going to require running. The foundations of running start with a pretty basic march. So we do a lot of marching. Someone's first week or two here at Fitness Quest as an athlete of any age, you're going to march and you're going to skip a lot. So just to go over the basic march, we'll have the athlete stand and you're just going to lift up your leg to where your thigh is parallel to the ground. Notice my toes are pulled up. These are things that we really have to teach because a lot of running patterns, we get weak hip flexors, short hip flexors. We're not able to get the legs up, not able to drive. The arms are all over the place. It's a mess. So with the march, legs up, toes up, heels underneath the hamstring, opposite arm is up, hands open, fingers to about the jawline. And we're going to step and drive the elbow back, step, step. Now notice what we're trying to do. Notice with my bottom support leg, I'm trying to get that support leg to straighten out. One of the biggest challenges if you're working with running technique with either old or young, experienced or inexperienced athletes, one of the biggest challenges you have is actually getting thorough hip extension when their foot hits the ground. So if we allow them to march hunched over like this, we're not going to get what we want. So upright, marching, just like that. We'll go for about 5 sets of 20 yards of marches. And as I said, we don't care if they're a pro athlete or a young athlete, that's the foundation of any sort of linear movement. Moving on from there, we add a skip to it. And all a skip does is makes that a little more dynamic. So a skip, we're here, toes are up, fire the knee up, come down. Now the skip, because it's dynamic and it happens a little bit faster, you have to have a little bit better eye to make sure that we're not getting cross-body movement or bent over movement. Again, bottom leg goes straight, full hip extension. We're trying to keep that back and that leg in one big line as I drive my elbows back. Again, it seems so simple, but so many athletes, young and old, experienced and inexperienced, that we get coming in here are unable to do that. If you can't do a basic skip, it's going to be hard for us to teach you the coordination, power, and strength to move on to a sprint or anything more dynamic where we're actually worried about how fast you can move. So for these drills and other drills, please look at our website, www.fitnessquest10.com.